Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using code Hawkeye and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, and the best daily promotions in the business. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matters more than ever. Remember to use code Hawkeye and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Place your money line, prop, or parlay bets with the king of sportsbooks today. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Iowa only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Baker's, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Baker's worth it every time. Baker's, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
No music, no intro. Another episode. Hashtag Saints Twitter podcast. This is gonna be a little short and sweet, little interlude podcast. I guess you could say. My man and I, Ryan, we're just gonna touch on, go over a few Saints practices, roster moves, talk about should we start getting worried. A lot of them injuries piling up, man. Them injuries they creeping up, and on top of that, there's currently 8 spots left in the hashtag Saints Twitter podcast Fantasy Football League. The draft is coming up this Friday. So this coming Friday, going to be the draft, live draft on Yahoo. We just trying to have some fun. So we really started heavily promoting the league today, and as soon as we start promoting, surprise, we start getting people in it. So if you're listening, if you want to be a part of the hashtag Saints Twitter podcast Fantasy Football League, holy shit, that is a mouthful. Can we shorten that? Then the way it is, you got to be a Patreon contributor, subscriber. So shout out to all the new Patreons we got today. Shout out to Christian. Shout out to Chris, Young Buck, Christian. Shout out to those guys who joined and are in the league. So if Ryan, can you hit them with the Patreon, the website, so they can become members?
Yeah, just go to patreon.com and look up hashtag Saints Twitter, and it'll come up. Or, just look at the show notes page of this podcast or any other past podcast episodes, and I have a link right there. So you just click on the link and you can subscribe.
Also, if you're already a subscriber on our Patreon, if you're already on that and you're not in the league, please DM the official Saints Twitter podcast Twitter account your email address so we can send you the link, because this is an invitation only. We can't post it out to the masses, because then everybody's gonna want to get. This is special. This is VIP room.
Special. Yeah, it's for y'all.
Bottle service. So if you're already a subscriber or you're already contributing on Patreon, DM the official Twitter account. We'll email you the link. Shout out to also homie Miguel, who was our first Patreon subscriber. He's also in the league. So we're just trying to set it off right now. Are you already?
That's it. At Saints Twit Pod is our official Twitter. Or you could email, what is it? Saints Twitter Pod at gmail.com. So, or just add us. Shit, add that boy Wolf.
Whichever. And also my Twitter account is unlocked for a bit, because gotta start
2 weeks.
it's hard to promote with a locked Twitter account. So
This dude.
we'll see how long that's going to be unlocked for. But so let's talk about a couple of practices, and I kind of want to, I guess I want to start with the injury concerns, or so there's been a few players who've been missing in practice to injury. I would say the most notable one is Marcus Davenport. He missed 2 practices. Actually, he wasn't at the light practice at the Superdome this evening. That'll be 3 practices. I believe this is Zach Bond missing 3 practices. So it's hard for us to know how many of these misses for any of these players are injury related, precautionary reasons with the season coming up. Cesar Ruiz got a little banged up a couple of practices ago. So it seemed they're all piling up. And the Saints play football on the 13th. Like,
yep.
this bitch is around the corner. It's like it's coming.
It's coming, man.
And I was gonna make a Wire reference, but you get mad at me because I haven't watched it yet. But so I want to start with Marcus Davenport because last episode at the end, it kind of came this Pete hate session. I don't want to make this a Davenport hate session, but I will say there is frustration. Like, as a Saints fan, with him as a player, with the draft capital that they gave up to get him, and the players that they passed on by selecting him, Jair Alexander, Lamar Jackson, whatever, list goes on. We've talked about it before. Like, this is I hate to be vulgar, but he has to nut up this season. Like,
he got to, man.
This is it, and the season's 2 weeks away, and it's like, oh, he's dinged up again. Like, I don't know, man.
It's like, come on, man. I mean, and obviously you can't predict injuries. Who knows what it is, or it could be something minor. I think most of these things are fairly minor because I'm pretty sure if it was something where guys need surgery or something, it'll get out to the national writers and we'll hear something. So, I mean, I wouldn't be too concerned as of right now. But, yeah, with Marcus, it's like, dude, like, we need him to really be a starter this year. Like, be a starter, And it's unfortunate. I remember when we signed him, I tweeted out, it was already a bad trade just because of what we gave up. Because his expectations were going to be ridiculous just because of what we gave up,
Yep.
And it has nothing to do with him. He's just, a young football player coming from a small school, and he's on the track that he was going to be on regardless of where he was drafted. You know what I'm saying? So, but what we gave up, puts that focus on him and those expectations. Because you give up 2 firsts, man.
Come on, man.
Yeah, come on, man. That's Khalil Mack. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, bro. Which is like, and I remember, if memory serves me correctly, I could be mistaken, but I believe that's the same offseason that the Raiders traded Khalil Mack to the Bears.
Yeah.
It was.
Now they had higher picks, so you can say that.
Correct. That is true. But John Gruden and Sean are tight. Anyway, I guess, and I tweeted this, I think yesterday or a couple of days, I don't know. But as well as the Saints have drafted over the last year since Jeff Ireland has taken over, that Davenport trade, that's a brutal trade. And it has nothing to do with him as a player, although the inconsistent injury things is very frustrating as a fan. But I already talked about the players that they passed on, and then you transition to the following year when they didn't have a pick that draft. The Saints have shown that they know what they're doing when it comes to their draft picks. Like, they know what they're doing. So to give that up a first round, because you're giving up a first round pick and you're giving up 5 years if you hit on a player. That's tough. That's tough.
Yeah. And basically, you just have to ask yourself, would you do it again if you had the chance? And it's like, no, of course not.
No way.
If you knew, we'll still be talking in his third year. We'll still be saying like, he needs to show up this year. No, you wouldn't have done it if you said that, because the Chicago Bears, as much as they have to regret, they're not regretting the Khalil Mack trade. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, worked out just fine. We're happy with him. Matter of fact, the Raiders probably kind of like, damn, maybe we could have figured it out.
They traded Khalil Mack, and then last year when they had a top 5 pick, they reached on Colin Farrell. Colin Farrell. Come on now.
Come on, man.
So yes, yeah, that's
but that's it's beating a dead horse. You can't rewind time. You can't do nothing about it. All you can do is hope that Davenport shows up, and it's not like he's a bad player or nothing. I could see if he was like a bust, had bust potential. He's not a bust. Like, even at this point, he's not a bust. He's just a player that has been nicked up quite a bit, and that has high potential but has not realized it yet. And the clock is ticking, so we just gotta wait it out, man. It's unfortunate, but I just hope it's a little minor injury and he comes through.
And not that I think this will have anything to do with it, but I have no inside intel, but I would think if this is just truly an all-in season, I asked this to Kat, like, if that with Davenport, this is likely to happen with, his injury history. Like, are you not seeing what can we do to bring in Clowney? Like, obviously Clowney has injury history as well, but obviously Clowney is a better player than Davenport, like in a bubble. That's not debatable. But if Davenport can't play, then do you have Big Creep like starting opposite Cam week 1? Like, is it trigger Trey? Like,
right, yeah, man. It's a downgrade. It's a downgrade if Davenport isn't there. So to me, it just makes 100% sense to try to do whatever you can within reason to get Clowney in. If this is like a go for broke year, like, why not? Tell me a reason why you shouldn't.
Right not. Unless his asking price is so outlandish. Like, if he's still $1 and $15 million a year,
yeah,
I get it.
And he strikes me as the type that's like he's fine missing Cap. Like, Clowney, he's like, I'm good. I'll wait till somebody get injured. You know what I'm saying? He's not tripping, chilling on a pandemic. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's good not being at camp.
So there were talks that the Saints were potentially interested in bringing in Everson Griffin when before he signed with Dallas, but like, it was the price tag that kept them away from signing him. He signed for Dallas for like a 1-year deal for $6 million. Like,
like $3 million like guaranteed, I think.
Like, I'm not the cap wizard that Loomis is, but this was the guy that helped destroy our offensive line against the Vikings. Like, he played a vital role in just completely shutting down our offense. I would not think that $6 million is outlandish, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know, man. How the Saints are. I'm sure they want to structure it a certain way. Probably make it like a 3-year deal, but it's a 1-year deal, and you got the 2 ghost years and all that stuff. So maybe those guys just don't want to deal with it. Like, give me $6 million straight up. You know what I'm saying?
I get it. Especially in a year like this. Like, we also talked about, being excited to see Zach Bond, and he's banged up. But kind of switching from the pessimistic side of things, it's a lot of talk about number 9's arm getting a little lively,
a little spicy,
little
hot sauce on that arm. I don't know.
I don't
I
know
don't know,
how.
man. I don't know. I don't want to predict anything. Like,
It,
oh, you
even if
40?
even if it is, I don't know how long it's gonna last.
Right,
But we've talked about it before of just how it just changes the offense.
right.
Schematically, just changes the offense.
It completely changes everything. You know, I mean, just imagine you're a middle safety, free safety, and you study the last four games of the Saints, and Drew Brees doesn't make an attempt past 25 yards. I mean, as a free safety, you know, okay, I could cheat up. I could cheat. I could stand at the 20-yard line, you know, 15 yards up and destroy the run game and whatever I need to do. I know I'm good about 20 yards. Now, if you study the tape, the past four games, and Breeze makes like three killer 35-plus yard uh, throws, well, now you know, okay, I gotta stand back a little bit, 25, 30 yards, just in case, because I'm the free safety. I'm the last line of defense. So I need to be on my P's and Q's because when it's open, he'll take the shots when it's there. And it's just that simple. Like, so we want to get to the point where Breeze is able to make those shots once, once maybe twice a game, Doesn't even have to complete, but just take it and get in range of the player. You know what I'm saying? So just to keep the defenses honest.
Yeah, you said it perfectly. Just keep them honest. Um, some clips that some things that clips that last couple of days that came out. Emmanuel Sanders, I don't know if it was. It sounded like in camp, he was getting used to the offense, getting used to Breeze. Man, he ran some routes against Marshawn.
Oh yeah,
that had me thinking. Shout out to our boy Will because he tweeted it. I was thinking the exact same thing. Like it was Antonio Brown light,
right.
and it was just a nasty route.
Right, that was the first thing I said. That's an AB route.
Easy.
That's an AB route. And then Kyrie Robinson, former Saint, he was like, he running AB routes, huh? Or something like that. So
Yep.
it was that evident. Like those are one of those routes that you got to be a dog to run. You know what I'm saying? It stresses the hell out of a DB, even great DBs like Lattimore. It was like not much Lattimore could have done
Nah,
there.
nothing.
It's
It's funny. The last podcast we talked about how we've been craving speed at linebacker, and we got it. And now, we got a number two. We got him. Undoubtedly, again, we've talked about this. It's hard. It's going to be hard to stop this offense. My main concern going forward, my main concern regarding the offense now is just cohesiveness or lack thereof.
Right.
With all the injuries, missing time, Pete, Ruiz, Armstead, Ramczyk.
Think about it. The offensive line is going to be like the actual starters hadn't played together yet.
Nope.
We don't even know what that line looks like. So
nope.
It's going to be a question. It's going to be an issue.
And and we talked about this last time too. Do you give Pete that week off? I mean, not week off, but do you, if his hand's not ready, instead of putting him out there, do you just go with Easton at left guard? And
I think they'll go with Easton because he's been getting the reps. I think they'll go with Easton until Pete is ready, ready, and until he's in shape and ready.
Not running to Canes anymore.
And then Canes up.
No slaw. I feel like I would be remiss if we didn't talk about all camp long the talk of the DBs. It's insane when you think about how far this team has come. Our dark days, we would complain about not having a cornerback, not having speed at everything, just not having it. And it sounds like the DBs on the team are just being dogs all camp.
All camp, man.
Making plays.
even P.J. Williams, P-Rob.
Oh God,
P-Rob making plays.
P-Rob about to steal another check. Like P-Rob is great. Like P-Rob is great in training camp. He's great in practices. Someone goes down in a game. P-Rob out there. P-Rob is confused every time, bro. Every time.
P-Rob getting targeted. Boy, he got that bullseyes on him.
Every time a DB on our team goes down, and since since P-Rob has come back, never fails, bro.
But put on like the Eagles when he was with the Eagles. P-Rob getting interceptions, running them back,
pick sixes,
making plays. Like,
in the playoffs.
Man,
but just the depth, and I still think a concern is, and we talked about it before, depth at outside corner.
Right.
Worries me greatly. But let's just go down the line. Marshawn Lattimore, Janoris Jenkins, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I'm sorry. I'm just not. Sorry. I'm gonna call him that. P-Rob, PJ, Marcus Williams, Malcolm Jenkins, Keith. Sounds like the Keith Washington's been coming on.
Yeah,
it's just a deep group,
and got like just DJ Swearinger just like there. You know what I'm saying, making plays.
Which sounds like he has itched himself a role onto the team.
Yeah,
and then you have a player as a rookie who was dominating training camp. Maybe dominating was not the right term, but just making a lot of plays in training camp. And Shaquan Hampton probably not going to make the team. Like he
might not.
Like it's just the depth is insane. And it would truly allow DA to be as creative as he wants to be.
Mm-hmm. Because DA, he's still running that Greg Williams scheme. Can't remember who I was listening to. I can't remember. It was a player, but he was basically saying, "Yeah, this is the same thing we ran when I was, playing for Greg Williams." And and that's basically what it is. I'm trying to think. What player do we have playing
Malcolm Jenkins?
No. It was a player that played for the Jets.
The Jets.
Do we have a former Jet?
I mean, that.
I don't know. Anyway, but DA is still running that scheme pretty much in his own manner. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
With his own philosophy or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, that scheme is all about DBs. You know what I'm saying? It's all about disguising looks, making quarterbacks take an extra tick before they throw because they're trying to figure out what they're looking at. So he's going to throw cover 3 at you. They all like Aaron Glenn and DA have all talked about this offseason running more press man on the outside. I think they only did press man like 30% last year.
Man, that sounds low.
It's very low. Like that's low. It was much lower than years prior and lowest under DAs from my understanding. So I think you're going to see a lot of that. So you're going to see a lot of mixing and matching in the middle. So it's that's man. If you could really press. My only thing is I'm curious to see how they defend those bunch routes and those rub routes because those are the man beaters that teams like to use.
Yep.
And with those it's like all about communication, or your keys and all that stuff. So I'm curious to see. That's why Malcolm Jenkins is going to be so integral because
you just read my mind. Read it. Like if you think back to that Giants game, I don't even remember. Was DA might not even been the DC the Giants game where the Odell Giants game where they that rub route was just killing Devin bro.
Oh yeah. I don't know if DA was.
I don't think he was, but he was on the. But like perfect example though was bunch route, rub, pick, whatever you want to call it. And if that communication isn't on point of, okay, if he's rubbing or whatever, I'm taking him. That's an easy touchdown.
Easy.
And we saw it.
Yeah. I mean, we see the Saints do it to other teams all the time, just all the time. So, I'm interested to see how it'll all come together as far as, like, we know we have the players, we know they have the dogs, but really, like, the next level is the, like, intelligence, communication, playing together and all that stuff. That's going to be the real tell, because week 1, I mean, I don't know what we're going to see from the Bucks, but like we know that's a squad. You know what I'm saying?
It's gonna So I don't want to preview week 1, but we'll preview a little bit. We're gonna preview the whole thing because we're gonna leave that for another podcast. But we got Mike Evans, and we know Marshawn's gonna be locked up with him pretty much probably exclusively. Then you got Chris Godwin, who I guess would be Janoris Jenkins takes him. And then the key of the game, I would say there's 2 keys of the game in terms of just defensively is, and I tweeted this, like the Bucks have so many tight ends that they can throw at a team. I was just thinking, like, I don't know how they're going to be able to, quote unquote, satisfy them in a season, because they have Gronk. They have Cameron Brate, who I forget about, who was on the Saints on the practice squad back in the day, and they have OJ Howard, who's a first rounder. So unless they trade OJ Howard before the season starts, that's 5 weapons that they can throw at you, and you got the player that blew past Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Scotty Miller, and of course Tom Brady has great rapport with him all training camp because he's like Julian Edelman. It's going to be very interesting to see how they handle what's going to be thrown at them week 1.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup, but I guess you just hope where you just kind of hope they're as rusty as the Saints offense is probably going to be. But we don't know. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? But I would not bet on week 1. Come on, man. Just look at the past. Look at recent history. The team has not come out on fire in week 1. Even last year against Houston Texans, even though they won the game, it was a mixed bag. I mean, it was a mixed bag. The refs were trying to figure things out. Holding calls galore. Drew Brees, I think he threw an interception to the linebacker, but he was looking great. But it was still kind of run game was kind of mixed.
Oh, yeah, it was Whitney Merciless.
Yeah, Whitney Merciless. So, I wouldn't bet on the Saints. I wouldn't bet against them. I just wouldn't even touch it. I just wait and see, man.
Anything else that, again, this is going to be, we try to keep it brief. Anything else that's just caught your eye, because training camps.
I texted Nick about this because I just, watching, and not much has to be said about Mike Thomas. It's really nothing we could say that's new. But when you just watch him compared to everybody else, he's just different, bro.
Different.
Like, he moved different. His routes are different. It's like I told Nick, it's like he figured out that I'm not saying he's going to be Jerry Rice or is Jerry Rice. I'm not saying that. Like, Jerry Rice the GOAT. We know that. But I'm saying he kind of figured out that Jerry Rice cheat code to where you just seeing coverage and you running routes just on a different level, man. And it's not even about speed. It's not about, athleticism. It's just like you've just figured out how to work it to a point where, like, he doesn't even look like he's seeing DBs. He's just like
it's like 7-on-7.
It's like 7-on-7 for him, man. It's like it's nothing. So I wouldn't the dude take care of his body. Is like, and that's crazy because he got $100 million deal, bro. Like, as a wide receiver.
And he's still underpaid.
Bro, like, I don't even sweat about, like, you got another million, and a lot of, people still pissed about a lot of players that get paid that money. But I'm not even sweating. I'm like, I'm glad he locked up,
It's that's a great way to describe what he is as a player. If you're a Matrix fan, it's like he's Neo'd the wide receiver position, like from the route running position. Like he's become Neo, and he sees it all. It's the he's seeing the green, like it's all.
Like I tweeted, he's just seeing like Matrix code. Like it's just.
Did you? Didn't even see that tweet. Yeah, he's different, bruh. I'm trying to think anything else that's just caught my eye. Okay.
Injuries. Like I know Cabrera, he's been out. He was out for a while with a stomach flu. I think he came back. One practice. Now he wasn't at the scrimmage today.
You think he might be pulling a little Melvin Ingram?
I was asking about that. I was like, is he trying to pull in a little in-house, holdout or whatever?
Melvin Ingram going on? I mean, it would be weird. It would be weird for him to start that now. Like he's had, like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's pretty much been there since the beginning, training camp. So it just been an odd angle to be like, you know what, 2 weeks before the season.
You saw how it worked for Melvin Ingram. He got like he didn't get an extension, but he got his $14 million guaranteed.
Sure did.
So I'm just wondering, Kamara, like, shit, like, okay, he saw that he's healthy. He showed the coaches and everybody that he's healthy, he's moving well. Like, man, I'm not about to push it. You know what I'm saying? If my calf a little tight, I ain't going out there, coach. You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do about it? You know? You gonna cut me?
Play Levante or play Murray?
Play Montgomery, Ty Montgomery.
Come on now. Something that continues to catch my eye. When I see clips of Jameis Winston throwing the football, I'm trying to think the last quarterback the Saints have had, Aaron Brooks, that could whip it like that. And some of those throws, bro, like I will just say, and I'll go on record on saying this, even though me going on record doesn't mean anything. I would be very shocked if this is Drew's last year if Jameis isn't the starting quarterback next season. Like I would be shocked because I don't know Sean Payton, but I know his mind enough to like you. There's no way he sees those throws and doesn't think, woo, like
I knew it. I knew it from the beginning. I was like, man, he's gonna be the most talented quarterback in the room.
Yes,
and I mean it's easy to see. Now, got to talk about decision making. You read every practice. It's the Jameis Winston experience, just like we've saw over the years. He's making great plays, and then he throws a pick or something's not looking good. Granted, the offense has kind of been up and down, the entire offense with everybody, even with Drew Brees has been up and down. So is it him? Is it not? But that's the Jameis Winston experience. So you're always making that excuse like, well, there's the offensive line not as good this year. It's always something. So it's like it's one of those things we just got to see it. I don't know if we'll ever see it during the season. God forbid Drew Brees gets hurt or something. I would just hope like the greatest scenario is like we lock it up by week 13. Like the first seed is locked up. Maybe week 14, and you get like one game or maybe two of Jameis Winston. That's just the greatest scenario you can hope for. But yeah, man, like I know Sean Payton looking like, man, he expands my playbook.
Easily.
Tell him.
Without question. I think, and again, we didn't get the OTAs, we didn't get the mini camps, we didn't get a full quote unquote training camp. So, we don't get the preseason to see Jameis with the offense, what have you. But still, I know it's a 1-year deal. I get all that, but I just get a feeling that he's going to be back with the team next season. And he has this personality that's contagious. Like
Yeah.
it's and you already hear the players talking about it. So we'll see. Anything else? Oh, I think this is the last thing for me before we start wrapping up. The battle for the wide receiver 4 and 5, it seems to be heating up. Benny Fowler, a couple of practices ago sounds like he had a show. So I don't put Harris in that discussion. Obviously he's going to get wide receiver snaps and all that. But the Benny Fowler, Juwan Johnson, and the rookie from Callaway, that's going to be a battle to the end.
Yeah, it is. And from what I'm hearing, I think they don't tweet him about him a lot, but I hear Juwan Johnson is like really like doing all the right things, whereas Callaway is kind of making like a shiny play here and there. So that's going to be interesting. Two of those guys. I mean, when I looked at the tape earlier, I mean, both of them are intriguing. Johnson is kind of like a big tight end almost,
or
like a small tight end.
Yeah.
He's a bigger guy that can kind of give you those type of snaps. Where Callaway, all I saw him do was get downfield and like trap arm catches. Just that's all he did.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Juwan, I could easily see them really liking him because one thing that stood out when I watched his clips at Oregon is he's a great blocker.
Yeah.
And that is something when that makes sense because he, like you said, he's like a small tight end. So he's going against college cornerbacks. He can outmuscle and block them. And we haven't had, I'm not saying no disrespect to any other, but man, since Brandon Coleman's gone and even Willie Snead, like they were,
they were
dogs in the run game. And it's not coincidence that since they've left, big explosive run plays
have not been there.
Have not. And that's a factor to it.
Yep.
So
that's a great point.
So I could see them liking. I could see Johnson, and then we talked about this through text message. I think there's just going to be these next couple of weeks movement in the NFL. I think I don't say an all-time high, but in terms of cuts, there's going to be good veteran players that are going to get cut for whatever reason. And then, like we saw today with the Raycon McMillan trade from Miami to Oakland, I think there's going to be a flurry of trades just because the draft next season is uncertain. Yeah. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have, we don't know what kind of college football season we're going to have, but it's not going to be what we've had in the past, obviously. So if you got to think about it, like, how valuable are your third, fourth, especially your fourth, fifth, and sixth, and seventh round picks? I mean, you literally like the draft is already throwing darts at the wall.
Yep.
Especially in the late round. But if you haven't seen a player play in like 2 years, so why not trade a fourth and a seventh for a guy that has 2 years NFL tape who looks intriguing. He might not be the greatest player, but if somebody looks intriguing and maybe the team is willing to get rid of him. So yeah, I expect to see a lot of trades and a lot of small trades, not huge name players or players that's going to demand first and second round picks, but I expect to see a flurry of late round picks and fill the roster type players where teams rather go towards a known quantity instead of just betting on the draft.
Yeah, complete unknown. And last thing, we're talking about trades and cuts. Can I just say, can we just fire Adam Gase and Joe Judd? Just get them out of here. Like I'm done with them, Ryan. Like
You done with your Jazz already?
maybe we gonna take the red quarterback shirt off of Daniel Jones. Let him get like a pop.
Get a
Serious?
little pop,
Yeah, I
Let him
can't.
pop it a little bit.
Your starting quarterback. You go. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if they did that and he got hit and like he tore his ACL or some wild shit like that would happen?
Oh man. Like think about it. Aaron Donald injured Breeze just by like holding his hand up.
That's it.
That's it. 5 games right there.
So you're gonna take your starting quarterback off an already very likely shitty team, but he showed promises and spurts last season, and you're gonna risk like him getting a pop before the season starts during a COVID season?
And then Adam Gase. So LeVon Bell gets a break from a scrimmage, because he's an older player, he's a vet. Gets a break. But no, Adam Gase doesn't communicate like, yeah, I'm just holding you back. It's all good. He goes and tells the media, yeah, LeVon Bell, he has tight hamstring. Knowing LeVon Bell has dealt with injuries last year, which kind of, soured his whole experience last year. So then he has to run to Twitter and like, oh no, my hamstring is just fine. I'm good. I could play football right now. Like that's just a mess, man. Like communicate with your players, bro.
Big mess.
Like, come on, man. Like Adam Gase, man. It's like I don't even know if he's a good football coach or not. Like as far as like X and O's and stuff, maybe he is. I don't know. But like, damn, like he just sucks at like the.
He just seems like I hate to say this and talk about this man like that, but he just seems like a snake. Just snake. Like
you can't trust him.
No, at all. So if we could get the 2 New York head coaches out of here already, I would greatly appreciate it. And also, I still think, and we talked about this, and I guess our homeboy Greg had mentioned this around the NFL podcast. I still think Bell could get traded or cut before the season starts. Like I think it's very much on the table.
Very much on the table. Even when the season starts, if they're looking like shit, I think their GM, I forgot his name. He's about racking up picks. So that'll prep them to get them in position to, get in the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes.
Let Sam Darnold go to like a somewhat reputable NFL team, just so we can know if he's good or not. Like he may be terrible, he may be great. We don't know.
I would love to see him with Sean Payton.
Listen,
I'd love it.
Every day that passes, Ryan and I get highly upset that CeeDee Lamb ended with the Cowboys.
Oh man.
Every day is something, Ryan. Every day. Like
quick, give me your top 5 offenses of 2020, I mean.
Top 5 offenses.
Who do you think will be the top 5 offenses? Points, yards, everything.
This is no order, so just off the top of my dome, Kansas City, Baltimore, New Orleans, Dallas, and let me give you a 5th. I'm not confident in this one, but I'm going to say Green Bay. Only reason I don't go Tampa just because Brady, new system, that offensive line, I don't know, that could go wonky real quick. So those are my 5. What about you?
No, I the top 4 you said, those first 4, I agree, and I would put the Rams in there. I think the Rams. I don't know if their team will be as good, but I think the offense has kind of like a bounce back year where they put up a lot of points and yards or whatever.
You know what? If I would probably, and maybe because I've drank the Kool-Aid, I'd probably take out Green Bay and probably insert Arizona. Like Kyler year 2, got Nuke, got Drake. I think that
Dan Arnold out chip.
Come on, man! You about to maybe end this podcast? Not just abruptly.
Dan Arnold catching shit with his tip fingers and shit, man. Like he out here, bro.
This is fuck Dan Arnold always around these parts.
Fuck that boy.
Always. All right.
I can see that.
But yeah, I mean, every time Dan Arnold made a play for the Cardinals last season, and shockingly he made a lot, was hot, bruh. Just human. Just watching Red Zone and like, this motherfucker right here.
This motherfucker really gonna do that. But yeah, man, like I knew you was, I just wanted to see if you would say Dallas, because I really think they're gonna have it's gonna be like 1, 2, 3, or 4. I don't know how the team will look.
My concern, my thing with Dak is when he's on. But Dak is very streaky.
He's streaky, man.
He's streaky. And so he had a great rookie season. And then year two wasn't looking. And I think that was the year that, Ezekiel was out for grabbing titties or whatever. But I don't know. That's my hesitance. But like, if Dak can be consistent, you put so much stress on defenses with Amari, Gallup, CD.
Gallup had like the seventh most yards last year.
That's crazy.
So
and
Amari.
And he missed. I know he missed the Saints game. Like I know he missed a couple of games with injury.
Exactly. So I mean, I'm just saying, like, even if Dak is kind of streaky, like just the weapons they got with him, and if Zeke healthy, like he might not have a choice but just to have a good offense. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless he just has a bad year, but he's shown that he's been pretty consistent at least.
It's also crazy that we're talking about this, and like players like Zeke and like Von Miller had COVID like a couple of months ago, and now it's just like, oh well, all right, Negro, time to play football. like.
Speaking of COVID, shout out to Gail Benson. She got it right now. She gonna get through. She'll be all right. Got that top-notch health care.
Mama
good.
Mama Benson gonna pull through. Yeah. The one, I don't know who said it, but shout out to our boy K Brown, who works at ESPN. He tweeted that someone said, "Don't take Gail, take Rita instead," and I just about died. Twitter's a wild place, man.
Wow.
All right, man. With that, we're gonna get out. So we're gonna wrap this up. If you're interested in joining the league, there's 8 spots left. It may not be. It may not be 8 by the time you're listening to this.
Yeah.
So become a Patreon subscriber, donator, send a DM to either myself or Ryan or the Saints Twitter podcast once you become a subscriber, and send your email in the DM. We will get you in the league. That simple. Draft is this upcoming Friday.
Let's go. I'm most likely will lose. So
it's all for shits and giggles and fun anyway. So, so with that, we're gonna get out of here. We are gonna have like an official before week 1. We're gonna have an official week 1 breakdown of what to expect. Breaking down the game, and that's So when the season starts, that will be the plan of having a preview for the upcoming game, recapping the games that take place. And so as there's going to be football. There was college football tonight that I watched for a half before I couldn't take it anymore. Like football is being played. So
oh shit, all right.
It was Austin P versus Central Arkansas. I don't know. I don't know, man. I watched it, and for that half, I was like, man, like they are playing football. Like it's happening. And it
Did
was.
they have fans?
They did, but they were super social distance. Like it was super social. Like it was like the stadium looked kind of like thinking like a high school football stadium, but obviously like a little bigger. And there were people in the stands, but they were just super distant. And I'm like, all right. I guess we're doing it. So, but just getting that sense of normalcy back for, I just finished watching the Lakers and Blazers game and all that. Just with everything going on in this world, with social injustice, racial injustice, people dying due to COVID, Chadwick like Black Panther died yesterday, man. Like
Black Panther dead, man.
Like to have, I know it shouldn't be quote unquote an escape, but to have an escape and to have something that makes us feel any type of sense of normalcy, we can't take that for granted. Like we can't. Like I'm not saying rush out and go see New Mutants and Tenet in the movie theater. Like I wouldn't go that far in terms of normalcy, but having normalcy where it could be like, even if it's in your home, we're watching a game or whatever it is, man, we need that right now because it's 2020 has been at our neck, and whatever we can to get through this year. And get past it. And, like you said, things ain't going to get better January 1st, 2021. But, man, let's just get through these next 3 months if we can, bro, because it's been a struggle. But with that said, we're going to get out of here. You can follow Ryan on Twitter at ThatBoyWolf. Even though my account's locked, I'm still not going to put my Twitter out there. Whatever, I don't really care. And with that, we're out.
Peace.
Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using code Hawkeye and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, and the best daily promotions in the business. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matters more than ever. Remember to use code Hawkeye and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Place your money line, prop, or parlay bets with the king of sportsbooks today. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Iowa only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.